Alrighty, hello every folks, and good morning. Welcome to a little bit of a trip down memory lane, one that I almost guarantee will inevitably end up getting interrupted by spam calls, because it's that time of the day. But anyways, welcome back to the PS2 era, a time when, look, we can wax nostalgic about, games trying harder back then. I don't feel like they tried less. I just feel like at this point, the graphical quality of stuff was generally considered to be acceptable at a lower pace, so it just generally weirder stuff was accepted as just fine. We ended up getting a lot of weird results, and well, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite things out of that era today here, which was going to be the RPG bike. But before we get there, I just want to say it. Like the PS2 is a funny system because almost every one of my favorite things from that time ended up having some kind of weird asterisk to its ports. Like a lot of folks remember this dang cul-de-sac. A lot of us grew up with this weirdly rundown area. Um, but like for example, things like Final Fantasy X had a great port in general, but many have potentially pointed out things like a lot of the facial animations being weirdly stiff. A lot of jokes have been made about the definitive editions of the GTA games being the defective editions and stuff like that. Some of the other ports only came out on something like the PS Vita, which you know. Um, has a hard time in the existing department. I think actually probably some of the few that actually did have a chance to do a little bit more probably were things like the Persona games and whatever. But anyways, today I wanted to talk about the RPG bike. So this is one of my favorite things from back in the day. I don't know how relatable of an experience this is for many, but like I know to me back in the day, typically San Andreas was not about the story. It was not about completing the story. I completed the story every now and then, but usually it was only after doing what I considered the real core content of this game, and that was going around and taking over the entirety of the first third of the game on a bicycle. Now, this is part of the reason that a little while ago I had left a community post asking if anybody would be interested in for example, seeing a playthrough of this game entirely just with someone's ass glued to the seat. So the reason that I love this bike so much is just how completely out of place it is. Because we're talking about a game that's got endless amounts of cars, planes, helicopters, motorcycles, what have you. And suddenly here's this bike that uses RPG mechanics. That the more you ride around on this bike, the higher you jump. Like this is around halfway through the skill bar. By the time you have it maxed out, you can literally just jump on top of rooftops, just doing this little bunny hop. And it's one of these things that gets weirder and weirder as you continue to use it. Like, if you time your jump just right, you can basically skyrocket people in the air with the thing. You can basically become completely glued to your seat whenever you're riding around. And I was really disappointed when like GTA 5 rolled around, and there just was while there was technically a thing with a bike there, it wasn't nearly as impressive as this thing was. Now, granted, if this is impressive to you, you know you're probably an old fart like I am, but like at the time, this was just crazy impressive to see these RPG mechanics tied to everything, to see this much simulation going on in the world. And to me, it was just more fun to ride around on this bike and crash into things. And I mean, I love how it actually raises your health as you're riding it to almost mitigate the fact that, that you're losing so much health crashing into things. But the combination of these janky controls and just weird mechanics and everything else just really made me appreciate this thing so much. Ah. It's just, like, it's goofy, but it works. Also, fine. I guess we'll engage with the normal gameplay loop. There we go. But, like, here comes this bike, right? And you go on a motorcycle, you can lose a tire. You go on a car, you can lose a tire. You can get shot out of the air as a jet. But if you're on your bike, your tires can't be popped. You're basically indestructible outside of your health and armor bar. And I mean, basically, as far as those go, you can just go to the store, buy more. You can stop at your local pizza place and just get yourself a full health bar. This is why a lot of my primary experience with this game was doing the Gang Wars section of this whole thing, which is, like, it's weird to see new reviews now coming back and taking a look at this whole thing and be like, no, this old mechanic sucks. But I keep thinking about it, like, I loved this mechanic. I just riding around on a bike with the freaking SMG. That was my favorite part of San Andreas. I did not care the slightest bit about the story. To me, It was like the story of this game was just one crazy vigilante on a bicycle trying to clean up their neighborhood so they stop getting shot at all the time. This was more a rebel story, or just a story of survival more so than a story of a gangster becoming a millionaire. Like I didn't care about the casino heists. I didn't I the entire area that's nearby San Francisco suddenly became a lot more relatable. No, no, no! Don't run away from my bike! Quick, don't let it despawn. We're on the PS2. Stuff doesn't stay around long. But like that whole section became way more relatable once I actually had lived nearby San Francisco for a while. But like this. To me, this was this was the experience here, just like doing the RPG mechanics, hopping around on a bike. Funnily enough, despite being on a bike all the time, you may notice this old character from back in the day still has a pretty decent chunk of fat on there because I kept running into stuff and would constantly go to eat more pizza to heal. So, yeah, it's just one of those weird games. Also, funny note, by the way, you can headshot people with a bike. It's like if you time the jump just right. Uh, like technically speaking, you probably can just beat the entire game on the back of a bike. I'm a little bit surprised that this doesn't actually come up more often. The funny part is, technically, if you attack something on the back of a bike, it doesn't start a fight. So I'm not entirely... I didn't know this at the time, so it basically became this endless bloodbath of wondering why it was that this never seemingly, got the gang war mechanic started. So it was more or less an endless gameplay loop, but I've been separated from my bike. This is sad. Wait, what? No, 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 run! Jump! Run away! Eventually they'll come for you in helicopters. Anyway, realistically, is there much of a reason for a bike to for a game to implement something like this? Nah, probably not. Like most of the time, you really wouldn't want to play the game like this, but I don't know. There's just something very special about this bike that keeps letting you jump higher and higher. It's kind of the same joy of the movement in something like Morrowind, you know? Just like maybe it's something about that era was just all about jump mechanics. I don't know, but it just felt good. I mean, yeah, there was no radio on the bike, and you could only go so fast, and many times whenever you were going uphill, you got yourself a little bit stuck. And if you accidentally ran into somebody, which that doesn't count as that particular instance, but like if you accidentally ran into somebody, you might accidentally start a gunfight out of nowhere. But still, it's like it's such a fun mechanic. I don't know. Like I know I can't be the only one that was obsessed with a stupid bike. It's just amusing, you know? Like yeah, do I keep running into things because I suck at this? Sure, absolutely. But like if anybody was ever curious to see at least an attempt at a whole playthrough of this thing using just the bike, or hell, even just doing the gang war segment on only the bike or something, I don't know. There's just something very special to this. Okay. Also, another funny interaction. Sometimes you'll launch the person. Sometimes the bike will launch instead. You can clearly tell that they had everything completely polished out here. I don't know if this works any different on the PC version. I would assume it does, because a lot of these weird, janky things, like sometimes you'll go and run into somebody and they'll just fly straight into the air. I'm assuming for most folks, this probably didn't come up, and it definitely sounds like the PC version probably fixed a lot of these things. Why are you on a tractor on... whatever. Just GTA things. This game is so weird, but... Anyway, so that's about that. Just waxing nostalgic about this dang stupid bike. The more that I think about it, I've heard folks say that it was just a sign of the times, that it was a sign of what people would try back then, the kinds of the weird, creative things that could only possibly happen at a time when there was no internet around. I would disagree. Because I've been watching my kiddos and kind of how they interact with the games that they get and stuff like that. Like going and seeing my daughter go and attempt to build a weird underwater hydroponics farm in Minecraft. Seeing my son decide that he wanted to catch every bird in existence in Pokemon or something, because he had heard that it would make the Zapdos spawn. I don't think it had anything to do with the era specifically. I think it was just more, how a kid brain works. You find something you like and you just kind of stick to it. You learn more about it. You get more mileage out of what's in front of you. So, anyways, weird nostalgia trip of the day. Um, and yeah, so y'all have yourselves a good one. Take care, and I'll see you in whatever the next thing is. Hell, I don't even know when I'm actually putting this one up or if I'm putting it up at all. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Y'all have a good one. Take care, and don't forget to ride your RPG bike.